Breaking news coming in at the top of the hour. A London-bound Vistara flight from Delhi was diverted to Frankfurt following a threat call, which was a hoax call. Vistara's statement says the flight has departed Frankfurt and is en route to London currently. In the last 4 days, remember, there have been 35 incidents of hoax calls impacting major Indian airline operations. Vishnu Shom joins us with more details as well. Vishnu, take us to the latest on the Vistara Delhi-London flight.
Well, this particular flight has now landed in London Heathrow, as I understand it. It was diverted to Frankfurt after it received what was considered to be a viable threat. There were checks which were conducted at Frankfurt Airport, and the flight was allowed to proceed on its way. What I'm now hearing primarily on social media, and which we've reached out to the airlines to confirm, is that there may have been an Air India flight from New York to Mumbai which may have been impacted, and another flight, an Air India Express flight, according to flight radar, was squawking 7700. In other words, it was emanating a signal which indicated a general emergency, which is something which aircraft do when there is some sort of danger on board. We've seen that happen repeatedly over the last few days. That was an Air India Express flight from Dubai to Jaipur. So again, we've reached out to Air India Express as well to confirm whether this has taken place or not. So the Vistara incident stands confirmed because there's an official statement. But whether there would be official statements from airlines whose flights actually continue to their original final destination or not is still unclear at this stage. But as you mentioned, there have been more than 35 such incidents now over the last 4 days, representing one of the most serious crises in Indian aviation, ever possibly, because it's a difficult situation for security agencies, obviously for passengers, and certainly it represents a financial hit for the airline every single time that a flight is diverted. So that's the situation we are in. Very little by way of information is coming on the investigations which are taking place. Some reports seem to suggest that VPN addresses in Germany and the UK were being used to make these hoax messages on social media. But again, in terms of the investigation, investigators extremely tight-lipped. And beyond an early arrest of a 17-year-old boy in Chhattisgarh who was believed to be doing this to some Air India flights, there has been no further information on arrest. So that's the situation we are in, and hopefully there will be progress by investigators.
Right, Vishnu, like you mentioned, there have been 35 incidents of these calls. And you also mentioned that there was action taken on one such miscreant who had sent these hoax messages. But can we expect a larger investigation into these hoax calls or hoax messages as well?
So there's been a larger investigation. It is a huge investigation which is taking place. That's something that's being conducted by various agencies. It's being spearheaded by the Bureau of Civil Aviation Security, and that began right after the first hoax call was received. So there's a very large process. I would assume that assistance is being sought from foreign agencies as well to try and figure out what to do and to get down to these social media messages, from unverified handles which are appearing. There is also, I would presume, an effort looking at the dark web to try and get an idea on whether this is indeed credible or these are pranksters at work. Again, we don't know, but with 36 plus, flights which have been impacted, it has to be looked at seriously, and it is.